and welcome to the introduction to the new Parcel of Petals stamp set and Parcel of Petals die set. And these two mix perfectly together to create little parcels of blooms. They're like little mini envelopes filled with florals, and there's lots of sentiments to mix and match with that as well. On the back of the die packaging, it gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. It's a little mini envelope that you can fill with all types of foliage, and there's also a couple of word dies as well. So you got the envelope, and then you got all the blooms and leaves and word dies and whatnot. For the stamp set, you have two different styles of envelope liners that you can stamp on the inside of your envelope. For sentiments, you have hello. I hope you know how much you're loved. You are beautiful. You've been on my mind. Have the best day ever. Thanks for being there. Congratulations. And then up at the top, just a note with a little heart. Okay, I'm going to show you the dies put together. I've die cut them in a bunch of different colors using Concord 9th solid color cardstock, of course. So this is what the little envelope looks like when you die cut it. It also scores it, so it makes it easy to fold. And then, like I said, you have the two different stamps that you can stamp like a faux envelope liner onto your envelope. So I want to show you that quickly. I've die cut two envelopes here out of white and ballet slipper, and I'm going to use the two different stamps in the Parcel of Petals stamp set to stamp the envelope liners. I want to show you how quick and easy that is to do. I'm using my mini Misty here. You don't have to use a stamp positioner, but I find it helps me. Okay, first is this little kind of circular envelope liner design, and I'm going to use sea glass ink, stamp that onto a white envelope. So I'm inking up the image and then stamping it right on that envelope. So there is a little crease there from the score mark. It's kind of hard to get the stamp in that unless you stamped it first. Actually, maybe I should have stamped it first and then die cut it, and then I wouldn't get that kind of impression. Maybe I'll try one after, but we're moving on to the ballet slipper, and I'm stamping the stripe envelope liner. So I'm using ballet slipper ink onto ballet slipper cardstock. It's going to be very subtle, kind of a tone on tone, one of my favorite looks to do. So depending on what color of envelope you stamp, you can do tone on tone for your envelope liner, and you get that look right there. Okay, so since it was bothering me and I just had to try it, I'm going to try doing one where you stamp first, die cut second, and see if you get better results that way. That's probably why the envelope liner die is open, so that you can line it up with your stamped image. So I have a panel of white cardstock here, and I'm going to stamp this design. I'm going to use sea glass ink, inking it up. This is kind of that circular patterned envelope liner design. And I think it's going to get better results. I probably should have done this to begin with, but learn from my mistakes. You're watching it here first. Okay, so I stamped that image, and then I'm going to take the envelope die, and you can easily line it up since the die is open. I'm going to use a little easy C tape just to hold it in place while I'm running it through my die cutting machine. Take this off camera, run it through, and you won't believe it. It works like a charm, works like how it was probably just intended. So you don't get that seam in that scored mark on your envelope. So another thing I want to show you is my die cutting machine is kind of new, so I don't get too scratchy on the back if you have nice new plates. But a lot of times I do have really scratchy back, so I can't ever really use the flip side of die cuts. And this one here, you got to fold over. So one thing I've noticed that if I take my little Teflon bone folder and kind of give it a once over around the edges on the back side, it makes it smooth so that when you fold it over, it's got a nice look. Okay, so you can do a lot of different colored envelopes. You can stamp with the liner or leave it solid. And then all the little floral and foliage die cuts you can fill in your little parcel of petals. And you can mix and match the colors like so. I love how a lot of the leaf die cuts are arching, some to the left, some to the right. So when you kind of tuck them in that envelope, it really just kind of billows out, and it makes it nice and full and really pretty. I did a lot of different colors of green cardstock here, and I have a sea glass envelope. So depending on your color combinations, you can get a lot of different looks. Here's the word dies: hello, lovely, and friend. You could put that right on the envelope or underneath it or inside the card, however you choose to make your composition. So here's a couple projects that I've created using the Parcel of Petals stamp set and Parcel of Petals dies. Here I use a mixture of pattern paper, and I use the Quirky stripe stencil from the December release for the background. I did a grapefruit envelope and filled it with a bunch of blooms in poppin' colors. I stamped one of the sentiments right along the bottom. And this one here, I used some Concord 9th Harvest Home pattern paper. I love that orange with the white polka dots. So use pattern paper for the background. Use pattern paper for your envelope. Filled it with blooms. I added that hello word die right onto the envelope. And I did some vellum blooms as well. Tuck those in. Love to add a good accent of vellum. And that is the introduction to the Parcel of Petals stamp set and Parcel of Petals dies.